Morning thoughts, morning thoughts, morning thoughts. Welcome to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. Let me start off by saying, see the hangers right here? Because you know some people get really petty. So you see the hangers right here? I'm in a hotel room. We've been traveling for the last couple of days. Wifey's right there, and see Kai Kai right there. All right, we've been on the road for a couple of days. How much it is now, babe? 4 days. We've been on the road for 4 days, been to and through a lot of places for 4 days. And just to update at the same time, it's been a good trip. Kai got to meet his family, his grand and great grand, and all that kind of stuff. So the channel hasn't been getting a lot of products, but
my laptop lost.
Oh, and her laptop we left at a TSA checkpoint at one of these airports that we went through. And we're going to talk about all that as well later on, but we're trying to still bring you meaningful stuff. Shout out to all the people going out to work this morning. Shout out to all the people coming in from work. My people at work, 2 jobs. The struggle is extremely real. Shout out to those people who are progressive, productive people willing to get up and work for everything they want, right? And to all the clean, good-hearted people in mind that wish everybody well and wants to see well for everyone else and themselves. Big up to you. Good people. Right. This video, however, this video is about, it's another immigration video. So what I've noticed is somebody keeps coming on my channel and he goes, boy, this boy obsessed with immigration. No, I'm obsessed with bringing information to my audience as things develop and change. And this one right here, you're definitely going to be affected, especially if, well, let me read the whole thing to you first. Those who listen will know exactly where I got this from, and you can go and get it for yourself. All right, so pay close attention. Trump demands legal immigrants reimburse the government for welfare programs. Trump demands legal immigrants, not illegal, legal immigrants, reimburse the government for welfare programs. I know right now somebody is saying they're going to make up another law and it's not going to pass and all this other stuff. This isn't a law that's going to be made up. Let me explain to you what's about to happen and which legal immigrants are going to be affected by this. Pay attention, because you might be one of them. Watch this. Washington. President Donald Trump took another step Thursday. Today is Monday. So that was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days ago, 5 days ago, he did this. Took another step to crack down on legal immigration, instructing agencies to enforce, listen, instructing agencies to enforce a 23-year-old law that requires sponsors of green card holders, let me see this again, sponsors of green card holders, correct, to reimburse the government for welfare benefits. So, again, he just issued instructions to agencies to reinforce a 23-year-old law that requires sponsors. So this is not a new law. This is a law that has been on the books for 23 years. Don't worry about he'll have to pass it through Congress first and the Democrats will never go with it. He don't need the Democrats to go with it. This is not anything that's new. This is old, 23 years old. Other presidents came into office and left with the same law on the books. They just did not pursue it in the way that this man is doing it. Okay? And he's going to use it now. Now, who will be affected? Sponsors of green card holders. So did you ever bring anybody come foreign that has a green card? You ever brought anybody come foreign that have a green card? You might be affected. I'm going to tell you how you might be affected. So Trump approved a memorandum Thursday to enforce a pair of provisions signed into law by President Bill Clinton in 1996. That's how old this is. The White House said the move comes as Trump has sought to overhaul legal immigration despite congressional resistance. To protect the benefits for American citizens, immigrants must financially and be self-sufficient, Trump said in an announcement of the plan. Critics have said that such moves unfairly punish low-income immigrants who sometimes need assistance to get started in the U.S. You know, you're coming from a poor country, you need a little assistance. It's all about the American dream, coming to America, setting yourself up for success, taking all the necessary or all that's available to you then and using it to make yourself better. But he is saying no. Critics have said that this unfairly punishes low-income immigrants who sometimes need assistance to get started in the U.S. But the White House counters that and says that too many immigrants are taking advantage of the U.S. generosity, pointing out that 58% of all households headed by a non-citizen use at least one welfare program. So in other words, we want to either kick these people off the welfare programs that are here in the U.S., or they want the people that brought these people here, sponsored them, to pay for that. And I'm going to tell you how that's going to work. Immigration advocate Marilena Hicampre, Executive Director for the National Immigration Law Center, and Olivia Golden, Executive Director for the Center of Law and Social Policy, denounced Trump's brutal, reckless, dangerous, inhumane agenda. So these lawyers are talking big, right? They can call it all they want to: brutal, reckless, dangerous, inhumane. The fact remains, this is not a new law. This law has been on the books. It is perfectly legal for him to use it, and he has opted to enforce it now. Go figure. Trump will do anything to send immigrant families the message that if you're not white and you're not wealthy, you're not welcomed here, or you're not even safe here, the two advocates said, who are also co-chairs of the Protecting Immigrant Families campaign, said in a statement. And he doesn't care that children and an entire family will be harmed in the process. Of course not. Why would he? This is the agenda. And we're acting like Trump is doing all this on his own. Administration officials announced last year that they were enforcing a law requiring immigrants to show that they can support themselves financially. More than 6 in 10 green cards are granted based on family ties. So if you think that this won't affect a lot of people, more than 6 out of every 10 green cards are granted based on family ties. That means somebody sponsored them to come here or to go live in the U.S. Department of Homeland Security data shows as of 2019. Legal immigrants. Trump's immigration plan sidesteps immigrants here illegally. Who pays? How does Trump administration plan to screen and card the applicants? So, White House officials did not respond to a request for comment. The White House did not provide the actual memorandum, only a fact sheet outlining its provisions. It was not immediately clear how many people will be affected by this order. So this has gone into effect. It is not immediately clear how many people will be affected by this order, but this order has gone into effect. The U.S. grants green cards to roughly 1 million foreigners each year, which I think is kind of suspicious. You're granting green cards to over 1 million people per year, but then when they get here, you have things set up in place to entrap them. Maybe the green card ain't so good after all. But then again, on the other hand, certain people's situation in whatever land it is that they're coming from is far more worse than what they're about to run into here in the U.S. The U.S. grants green cards to roughly 1 million foreigners each year. Thursday's move is just the latest in the administration's effort to limit what public benefit legal and undocumented immigrants can receive. So, again, he's trying to limit the amount of benefits that undocumented immigrants and legal immigrants can receive. Not illegal, legal immigrants can receive. In October, the Department of Homeland Security proposed new guidelines to redefine whether would-be immigrants are considered a public charge, rendering them ineligible to become legal permanent residents. And remember, if you followed my immigration videos, there was a video where I completely covered that, and I talked about how they were saying if you're here, right? Your paperwork's straight, but you're waiting for everything to come through so you can be solid. In the meantime, you've been taking some kind of benefit, then that benefit would disqualify you from applying for citizenship one day. They're going to say, well, as a green card holder, you were on welfare for like 5 of the 7 years that you've been here. So we see you as a burden to the system. Continue to hold on to your green card. We won't take that away from you, but we don't think you should become a citizen. You're not qualified, right? You haven't contributed enough. You've taken more than you've given, kind of thing. That's what they were talking about summer of 2018. The current definition defines a public charge as anyone who is primarily dependent. So in other words, then you are a public charge is what they call it. So in England, they call it living off the dole, right? You're a public charge. And if you're a public charge, then they see no reason to be in a hurry to welcome you into being a citizen. The current definition defines a public charge as someone who is primarily dependent on government assistance. That means receiving cash assistance that makes up more than half of their income, or receiving long-term medical care at government expense. That would be Medicare, Medicaid. The new definition, which has not yet gone into effect, would dramatically expand that definition to include any immigrant who receives even small amounts of government aid. That includes non-cash benefits such as the use of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as food stamps, Medicare Part D prescription drug benefits, Medicaid in non-emergency situations, and Section 8 housing and rental assistance. They are really reaching. The attempt to limit housing assistance flared up in Congress this week when Housing and Urban Development Secretary says Ben Carson, brain surgeon. Ben Carson proves to me that you can be extremely book smart, but you can just be dunce as hell. He's a brain surgeon, okay? Not any one of us could just walk into an institution and become a brain surgeon. You have to have some level of higher thinking and capabilities intellectually to become a brain surgeon, and he did just that. I think he was drawn to Donald Trump's campaign cabinet to serve in that position for a specific reason, which I should talk about in another video. Trump spoke very badly about this man his whole time running for president, and then elected him as a part of his cabinet to oversee this particular part. Urban. Do you know what they call urban here? It's another word for ghetto. Okay? So it's funny that he took a brain surgeon and made him in charge of ghetto housing. You will control the projects. That's a friggin' insult. But, hey, the paychecks must be huge. This man said, I don't have to do brain surgery anymore. I'll just go collect this big paycheck from Trump for as long as he's in office and has me in this position. Whole other story. Secretary Ben Carson appeared before the House committee to defend his agency's plan to evict undocumented immigrants. That's the plan right now. So undocumented immigrants found in any housing will be evicted and put out on the streets. Therefore, they'll be exposed to who? ICE. And then ICE will do what? Put them in an institution and then prepare them for deportation. Mathematics, 1 + 1 is 2. Check this out though. They also want to throw out their U.S.-born children from subsidized housing. Carson defended the plan by saying that the U.S. needs to take care of their own first. Well, if they are undocumented, so be it. But their children that are U.S. born are U.S. born. And the Constitution says if you are born on U.S. soil, you are a United States of America citizen naturally by birth. Cannot be taken away from you ever, right? So this is another way that the Trump administration was trying to redo the Constitution or add an amendment that says if your parents are illegal immigrants and have you in the U.S., then you should take the citizenship of your parents or the parent that is not from the U.S., and you should go back with them to wherever the hell they send them to after they catch them. That kind of stuff. But that didn't work out. He's still trying to make it happen. It's not working so far. He said, it's not that cruel, mean-hearted. It's that we are logical, Carson said. So, people, I don't know where you fall under all this, but I don't know if you're one of those people out there playing naive or you think when I do these videos that none of this stuff is real and it's not happening. It's happening to a lot of people. There's a whole lot of proof out there already. And if you do not pay attention to what's going on, I mean, some of it you can't control. We're just going to have to weather the storm and ride through it. Am I in support of illegal immigration? No, I'm not. And I don't want anybody to think that that's what I'm here doing. I am informing you about changes that are happening that will be affecting the majority of us. All right? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this one. Did you sponsor anybody that came to the U.S. that ended up on their own collecting welfare benefits? Because if you did, they are coming after, it's not a might, they are coming after you for reimbursements sometime. And you know how they do it here. It could be 10 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later. You see this crap pop up in your mailbox, and suddenly you're on the radar and responsible. And then they start that whole garnishing wages and following you around and dipping into your bank account, which they can do, so on and so forth. So pay attention to what's going on, man. It's SouFLoTV. Like, comment, share, subscribe as usual. Leave your comment in the comment section below. Share this with someone else so they are also aware. All right? Say bye-bye, babe.
Bye, guys.
All right, and go check out her channel, which is Brains and the Beat on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed yet, then you're late. But if you haven't, then go ahead and do so also. All right? I'm out, and we'll see you later. Peace.